Hi everyone, we are here. Say hi.
Hey.
To talk about the spring play for 2019 and how, as I already mentioned, all of these things are all over the place in the play that we have, and we want to bring it in, make it something that makes sense. So here's the problem that we have is we wanted it to be a modern day Romeo and Juliet. In Romeo and Juliet, this story is about two feuding families, and a girl from this family and a guy from this family meet, not knowing that they are from different families, and they fall in love, madly in love, without being able to control themselves. And then they find out they're in different families and they don't know what to do. And Romeo goes, "Oh, forget it. I won't. I'll just forget about Juliet." And he tries so hard for like a minute, and then he goes, "I can't. I am too deeply in love with her." And their love is hidden and it's secret. And then Juliet's cousin finds out, and Romeo and him go into a duel, and Romeo kills her cousin. Bad thing, right? Because he loves this girl. She still loves him, but Romeo killed a pretty important person in the world, and therefore Romeo is going to be banished. And Juliet finds this out, and she can't possibly think about living without him. So before he gets banished, he is secretly with Juliet, goes and they get married, right? And then he gets banished, and she comes up with this great idea to go to the apothecary, who is like a pharmacist nowadays, and she says, "I need to be dead, but just a temporary dead." So he gives her a salute, this vial of poison, and she drinks it, and she is temporarily dead.
So it's basically like the poison on
She
apple snow.
fakes her own death. She fakes her own death. She goes and gets buried, and she sends somebody to bring a note to Romeo, who's banished, that, "Hey, I'm not dead. Come and find me." Blah blah blah. He never gets the note. He thinks she's dead. He goes and he finds her in her tomb, and he says, "Oh, my love, my love, I can't live without you. You're dead. I'm not able to live without you." So he takes a knife and he kills himself. Right after she dies, or right after he dies, Juliet wakes up because she's not dead, and she sees her love dead. She takes the knife and she kills herself. So that is the story that we talked about redoing because it sounds awesome and it's one of the greatest stories ever told. However, it is very morbid and it's a love story. And those two things don't work well in middle school.
So that's why we're doing it in middle school. We gotta open up the mind.
Let's revamp what we're talking about and talk about Shakespeare. Okay, Shakespeare. All stories either come from Shakespeare or from the Bible. So no matter what story we make up, chances are there's some kind of tie into Shakespeare. So let's go back to our story, which starts with, we tried to talk about how these two people have crushes on each other, and oh, it's so cute, and we try to get them together.
To have like that's weird.
It's super weird. It's super weird. And in the last play we did, there was
the flirty guy.
The flirty guy, and that was awesome.
But that guy was just there.
It got sometimes at some points on the stage, it's like, oh, this isn't as fun as let's just have fun and do friendship stuff versus lover stuff. So that's why I'm going to scale back and look at this in a way of, let's changing the tone of not love story. Yeah. And Romeo and Juliet, what I like about it is you can do a different tie on it where there's two groups of people who are usually not interacting or like each other, and people randomly are friends with each other from the two groups. But the one thing I really like from the story we have already is this evil unicorn
Heck yeah.
who is actually a really good character. So can we
You gotta thank Maya for that.
re-look at Maya did that?
Yeah, she was the one that randomly blurted that out, and you were like, "That's a good idea, Maya. Add that in." And so it was born.
I will admit, last year when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. But then when I read it, that's the best part of the story. Is the evil unicorn? Is it an imaginary unicorn?
No, it's an actual.
So like instead of doing like the like love story of like Romeo and Juliet, we could do like two friends and then like one of them moves away and it's like I can't stand living by or I can't stand like without you living by me instead of like
Oh, and then we.
I can't stand
Yes.
without you.
Oh yeah, and then we can like kind of switch from scene to scene, like. So you know how in Camp Brown Bear there was like those scenes that would be like random camp activities, like those scenes that had nothing to do with the main story.
Yes.
You know, it could be almost like that, where you have just scenes who are like randomly changing between the two characters' lives until eventually the story conjoins again with the two characters.
Yes.
Maybe at first like start together or like start like over the phone or something.
Yeah, like the first scene, maybe you could have like voices and it's like a phone call, like, "Man, I really miss you. Too bad I had to move away" or something.
Yeah.
And then the story goes on, and during the last 2 or 3 scenes, they get together and figure things out again. And then, bam, friendship.
And who's Alexandria's arch rival
Me.
in sports? No, the town. The Cardinals. Wilmer or something like that. So thinking in that terms, like think about this, like having your arch enemy in another town and you're not supposed to be friends with them.
What if they're both part of like sports teams or like they're jocks or something, and then like
This is where we're getting
like the one person moved away or like they didn't move away, they just lived there and they became friends at the sporting event and they were part of different teams, and then they just kind of like kept contact or something.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Like they were like, and then like maybe at the end like there's like one like big like tournament or something, and like they're both in like the finale, and it's like, but I don't want to like crush your team, kind of.
yeah. So then they all go like get together and then play together as a big team somehow.
What if? Okay, here's a weird idea. Okay, no, keep on going. Go ahead. No.
Like the theme could be like, oh man, I forgot now.
I'm
Teamwork,
sorry.
Like, it's okay. Yeah, like teamwork, like getting like over like your like obstacles in life or something.
Teamwork. Getting over your obstacles in life. Let me write that down.
Okay.
Teamwork also.
So and then we can also kind of still keep the like fantasy theme almost, but you might have to dial it down a bit. Because like
no, we can keep the fantasy. I think that's the coolest part about it too.
To make it look interesting.
Working together.
To like create like harmony between like two different groups. Or like peace.
I like it. What? Tell me if I need to change anything here. All right. Hopefully they can read this. Okay. Okay, now I forgot what I was going to say.
yeah,
No.
So, no, that's okay. So, theme being teamwork and, okay. So here's what we need to, now I remember. Okay. So think about this. There's two people in different towns. They meet somewhere. What if they met at Camp Brown Bear last year?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Vivian, how you doing?"
Yes.
Remember that? And then
What if they were minor characters though? Because I feel like it'd be weird if you didn't go see the play Camp Brown Bear and you like knew.
it
So
wouldn't
we
have to
wouldn't
have
know.
anything to do with that. But they met at summer camp. But here is the main goal also that Miss Brossard and I were going to talk about. One set. No set changes. So we don't want the setting to be at a school. We don't want the setting to be at any specific, but something that is going to be very easy, like with our walls on wheels, we can just turn them over, or maybe it's two settings, right? We're either at somebody at this place or we're at this place.
Maybe what it could be is, since it's like two different schools, we can have like the two schools and all you have your walls for that, and then your school's on walls for that. And then you guys kind of have like an outside environment, like a field almost.
Okay, hang on to that thought.
Yeah. So like yeah, kind of like I don't know, for some odd reason I'm just thinking of the sport soccer or something, then like you could have like 2 soccer goals to like give it like the theme of that and stuff. And then like
Yeah. And then also, it's if you want to make it. Losing my train of thought slowly. This is fun.
That's okay.
I remember now. So like you can have them meet at like a sporting camp or something maybe too. It's like so like maybe since like people won't remember maybe like what Camp Brown Bear was about, it could be like a sporting camp or something like that.
Or it's like one of the activities in Camp Brown Bear was like they had tug of war and
Yeah.
like they just had events everywhere.
Similar. Well, I don't want it. I don't want to be too similar to Camp Brown Bear, where it's. But it's not. I mean, I'm not opposed to anything like that. But I think it would be great to not be in a school. It seems like a lot of our plays are in schools. Since we have this fantasy idea, let's roll with that cool idea, and could it all be up in the clouds or something? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I just said it could be up in the clouds.
My son loves Jack and the Beanstalk. So like what if like Jack and the Beanstalk just made like some appearance like at the end? I don't know.
Maybe you could be like a coach or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Who?
Like the giant.
The giant could
like
be
as a coach or something like that.
part of the play. Okay.
And
So
then
yes.
if we did stick with the theme of soccer, like the magic beans could be like the soccer ball. Or
Yes!
something like that.
Okay. So think about what we need to do is come back to the drawing board tomorrow and talk about if this is our theme and hopefully all of our absent people will be here tomorrow. Because if not, we need to write this play, and I think that will be.
Yeah, I know Sophia's sick today.
Yes, I know Sophia's sick today, and Brayden is.
Brayden's Brayden.
Brayden,
I don't know.
you told me you'd be here, but you said you'd be leaving at 3:20. So okay, tomorrow.
Do you know where he is?
He has hockey on Mondays, so he has to leave early on Mondays. So and I said that was okay since Monday's a short day. But we have to revisit what days people are going to be here.
I'm gonna take a picture of this.
Take a picture of this. Let's talk about set.
Like,
Let's talk about characters. I don't think the characters.
oh wait, we're gonna wait then.
Need to change too much from what we have already.
I don't think so. We might need like another jock, like a few more jocks though.
We
but that might be like just a whole other group though, because I feel kind of weird having like the popular kids, all the goths and all, especially if this is kind of based around sports. It would feel kind of weird. Maybe we have like cheerleaders though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done the whole like cliques where what was the show where we did the jocks, the mean girls, the whodunit. So it would be great if again we cannot have to go into that like different cliques. But if it were the fantasy like, or just not the stereotypical cliques, but the fantasy cliques.
There's
That would be fun.
there's that like group of like parents who just go like all out or something like that, and like they get like all the like
The
gear
shirts
and
with
stuff.
the
Yeah, and,
Jamie's mom.
No,
and
this
then
reminds me of
there's
Draco
like,
Malfoy, just like getting newest broom. It's gonna kick some Hogwarts butt.
I don't know what that has to do.
yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just like the way she said that. It's just like you're reminding me of Draco Malfoy, how he always had like the newest broom.
Oh,
Quidditch and
I
stuff.
see. He always has. Draco has the newest girl. Yeah.
Screw you,
Like-
Draco.
So different fantasy, different fantasy characters we already have and we've started building on. We need to make them less teenager like and more entertaining to watch. Like, oh my god, did you hear that? Those things are those. Let's see a little bit more growth in the characters.
Just little flashback to Legally Blonde. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, oh my gosh, you guys.
That's a great show for that. But let's think fantasy. Let's try and think of some movies and some shows we can watch to get us in the spirit of how to tie this in. The ones that here. Oh, and then my last parting thing is we want to create. So have you guys ever been in a fire theater show?
No,
Okay.
I know you have to sing in that, and I never have.
So there's some little singing, but what they do really well is they have these characters, but then they have like groups of people. So like in Alice in Wonderland, they have like the cards. So they'll have like 8 or 10 kids that are playing cards, and they all like come on, and they all have like a group saying that they all have to remember, and they have ownership of this role. And so I'd like to make more roles like that versus giving every single kid, like in the last show, we gave every single kid a name and everybody had at least one speaking line, but some of them were just one word. And it just wasn't the same as having like this ownership of every time the Queen of Hearts came out, all of her cards came out and they did this wacky fun like movement thing, and they all like yep, whatever their words were, and they said off with their head or something like that. So they all had lines as a group, and maybe every once in a while the director can be like, okay, now I need you to do this and something like that. So I think this kind of show can do that because we could have like the group of werewolves, and that, so there's like head werewolf and like all the other werewolves just they're like howling or doing something. Are these your ideas? Okay, so start writing those ideas down and keeping good notes of them so that tomorrow we can start tying it in together. We need to put together a list of scenes, because the scene list we have right now is a little bit, it's not organized enough, and that's okay. We'll get it figured out. But it's 3:32, and I'm gonna let you go. Think about characters tonight. Think about what we want to do. I really like these ideas. It sounds like a play I'd want to be in, and that's another thing. We need to write this so that people come and try out. I don't know if Romeo and Juliet is something a lot of guys will want to be in.
Oh, every guy's gonna want.
Every guy will
Get a
want to be
chance at a girl.
Romeo with a sword, but we're not okay.
I mean,
So
what
think
guy
outside the
would
box.
flail around a sword and then get a girl? Come on.
Think of oh, and let's try not to do adults.
Okay.
If we can keep it all, like I'm thinking, just like no, I'm just trying to think of TV shows or movies where it's just all like everybody's the same age, but it's not like they're kids or adults.
Like some are more mature than others. Kind of.
Some are more mature
So
than
kind of
others.
like 18-ish.
So I guess we had the idea of parents and like soccer moms.
Yeah.
So let's visit that, but also think of the idea of just having everybody the same age-ish area.
Yeah.
Kind of like Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
You don't really, well, there's the kids, but all the monsters are like the same age, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, or you don't know how old they are. Okay, bye. All right, I'm
Just
going
gotta wave
to.
goodbye to your fans.
Bye. So that's an 18-minute video. I'll tell the other kids to watch it. You're talking to Sophia?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I am going to email everybody this video so that